Hi guys, welcome back to the Southern Scouser. It has been a little while since I've done a video on here. I haven't spoken about the Real Madrid game personally to you guys on this channel, but I have been featuring, as I said in my last video, a lot more on other people's channels, different podcasts, on Twitter. I did an Instagram half-time and full-time reaction as well with Thiago's father, which is part of the Red Sea podcast, which is coming your way very soon via Never a Foul. So, a little bit to talk about in terms of Real Madrid and in terms of the Red Sky, who have also been teaming up with lately. We did a after match reaction to Real Madrid again with Steve, with Dave Kong, and with Thiago's father again. So it's been really fun jumping here and there and everywhere on different channels. But I've enjoyed it. But I do want to still keep my own stuff coming along as well. So I appreciate all the watchers, all the subscribers that I've had recently. That's definitely gone through the roof lately. And on Twitter I've hit 1,500, on Instagram I've hit 2,000, so it's all going in the right direction. And yeah, if you want me to feature on your video, that doesn't have to be Liverpool, it can be anything to do with football. I really enjoyed jumping on a Spurs video the other day, just having a little bit of chat about them and my thoughts from an outside perspective on the day-to-day of Spurs, of Jose and the team and transfers. So it's really good fun. I'm having a really good time with it all at the moment. So yeah, if you want to collaborate, as I say, I'm at the South Scouse on Twitter, the Southern Scouser on Instagram, and obviously you can find me on YouTube on here as well. But yeah, in terms of kind of getting into the meat of this video, obviously the Real Madrid game, massive disappointment. If you've already seen my reaction on other channels, this is just a bit of a wrap up from that. But yeah, really poor from Liverpool. I don't think we started particularly badly. I thought the centre-backs looked okay, and yeah, Madrid just grew in confidence, didn't they? And Toni Kroos finding that ball over the top for Vinicius, who, let's be honest, is not he's not a usual recognised goal scorer. He's okay, but he's not probably going to get 10 goals this season, although he's got the majority of his goals against us. But yeah, Nat Phillips obviously just gets outpaced, which we knew every day of the week's going to happen. I don't particularly blame Nat Phillips. He has his limitations. We know what he's got. We know he's not, a long-term future player for us. So yeah, that's going to happen if you play Nat Phillips against Real Madrid in the Champions League. That is what it is. So Toni Kroos doesn't try that ball with Van Dijk's at centre-back. So, it's one of them. I think Champions League was going to be a bridge too far this season. I think Premier League is a lot more realistic in terms of top four now. It's funny how it's turned around, isn't it? From that international break, you're looking, how do we get in next season? And 5 points off with 9 games to go. You're thinking, oh, it's going to be a tough ask. But suddenly it's 2 points away with 8 games to go after crazy result at Chelsea against West Brom, which was mad. So yeah, I think it's doable, 4th place. But in terms of the Madrid game, it was tough watching, wasn't it? I mean, Keita and Trent had really bad games, and obviously it was awful to see that they received some racial abuse, which was just completely, totally unacceptable on every level. I don't really get why everybody's well, not everybody, racism's default setting is to bring up the race part of a conversation when you're talking about a footballer's performance. There's absolutely no connection whatsoever. So I had a good chat about racism in football on Never a Foul on Chew the Fat the other night. So if you want to check that out as well, it was the Red Sea pod basically meets Never a Foul, and just kind of meeting the hosts, myself and James, and we talked about all different types of things. So there'll be a part 2 coming out as well. So check out Never a Foul, who, as I say, we're launching a new Liverpool channel under that umbrella. So that's really exciting to see. But yeah, we mentioned about racism in football, the Red Sea podcast, a little bit about myself and James' sort of personal life as well. So that was really nice to see. So check that out if you've got the time. But yeah, in terms of the Real Madrid game, obviously the other goals, I think Alisson's got to do better from the third shot. I think the whole team has to do better from the third goal. It's just so easily, it's so simple from a throw-in. They had a massive counter-attack. We got caught ridiculously from a corner. Trent did well to cut out the certain goal. But yeah, they score from the throw-in, and it's just so basic. Wijnaldum standing on the edge of the area doing nothing, which I don't think I've ever criticised Gini, to be brutally honest, but that was poor. Nat Phillips, surely, if you give Vinicius any space, what do you expect? Get your body in the way. I'm not expecting you to stick with him in pace, but in the penalty area, you should be on him like a rash. There's no way in the world that Nat Phillips should be giving 2 yards to Vinicius. Should be on him, physical battle. So we kept Benzema quiet, but Vinicius was the guy that popped up, wasn't he? So we did get one back. It was a bit scruffy, Jota kind of working it through to Salah, but overall the front three were poor, and Sadio Mane was the epitome of that. Absolutely shocking that night. Mane was absolutely awful. He spent his whole night on the floor, rolling around. Usually he's one to stay on his feet, but any little touch he was going over. And the shove in the back in the first half, again, he wasn't getting there, so that's why that wasn't given. But yeah, I was really disappointed with him, as I have been in this season. He's just really not at the races. We've already lost Firmino to bad form. Mane is now going the same way. It's only really been Salah that's been consistent, and obviously other than the injury, when Jota's played, he's usually been amongst the goals. So we are relying on those two. They're disappointing really overall. As I said, the centre backs, they are what they are. They're not world class defenders, so I didn't expect to see them keep Madrid quiet the whole night. I hoped we would get a goal, and as I said before in the preview, a 2-1 loss was fine. A 3-2 loss was going to be still better than that with a couple of away goals, but 3-1 loss gives us a lot of work to do. But yeah, other than that, Thiago obviously came on for Keita after 41 minutes, and what else do you say about that? Surely that's the end of Naby Keita at Liverpool. 3 years in, he's getting dragged. You couldn't wait 4 minutes, Klopp, to bring Keita off at half time. He had to bring him off after 41 minutes because it was so bad. It was going so wrong what he'd asked him to do, and he wasn't doing it. The amount of times we gave the ball away in that game was actually incredible in midfield, and it wasn't even trying to thread the ball through to the front three. It was basic possession passes in the middle of the park from midfielder to midfielder, just going straight to them. And once Madrid had that ball, they keep possession for 3-4 minutes at a time, and we get it back, and within 5-10 seconds we're giving it back to them. So overall, we didn't deserve anything from that game. We got the away goal, so that gives us a slim hope in the second leg. Again, Fabinho was excellent, and why he dropped him back to centre back again, I'm not sure. Towards the end of the game, the subs were odd. He brought on Firmino, which yes, good, but he took off Jota when Mane was having a shocker. And when we went 4 up top with the Arsenal game, we got a couple of goals. So surely you have to give it everything. We should have gone with a front 4 for the last 10-15 minutes and sacrificed a left back or something. It was a weird one overall. The game plan was poor. The execution was terrible, and the mistakes. Trent's header back to Vinicius for the second goal, just unforgivable. Really, really poor. I've defended Trent big time. Me and James have about the missing in out the England squad, and he's still got a lot to offer. In the Arsenal game, he showed that, but yeah, it was undefendable. It was so poor that night that he really needs to get back to basics, I think, and work on the defensive duties a little bit more than the crosses into the box, because yes, you can get away with that in the Premier League, but in the Champions League against teams like Madrid, they find you out. So that's pretty much it in terms of the Madrid game. In terms of a comeback, we need a 2-0 win at home to go through. Not impossible. We beat Barcelona 4-0, did we, to go through last couple of years ago? So never say never, but it's a big ask. If Madrid score, we need 3 just for extra time. And if Madrid score an extra time, that's the away goal that will kill us, because Liverpool will then need 2 goals to turn it round in probably less than half an hour, or definitely less than half an hour. So yeah, obviously never give up. Mo Salah t-shirt from a couple of years ago. It's never over, but it's a big ask. But of course, I'll be doing a preview next week. I'll be doing a match reaction. I'll be doing my half-time report, my full-time report on Instagram with James. So if you want to find me on the Southern Scouser during that Madrid game, I'll do one for the Villa game as well this weekend. So just hop in on at half-time and full-time, giving our raw reactions, which is always pretty good. Instagram live, so that went really well, and people popping on, putting comments in. I always read the comments out if they're worthy of a mention. So yeah, please jump on that. Please like, comment, subscribe as well to all my channels, all my different socials. That would be really appreciated. But yeah, on to that Villa game really. 7th versus 9th, which Villa are probably overperforming and Liverpool massively underperforming. It's a 5-point gap. Currently, Villa have a game in hand. So if Villa were to get anything from here and win their game in hand, they're a direct rival for us in the league position this season. So we really need to pull our finger out. We need to win this game. It's at Anfield. It's revenge. It was 7-2 very early on in the season at Villa Park. So even that day we had Van Dijk and Gomez as well. So it's a big ask, but I think we need to get a result, and I think we will. I'm hoping for a very slender 1-0 victory. I think Mo Salah probably to get the goal. And in terms of the game, you look, Grealish is doubtful or probably out now with the news this morning that his ankle's flared up again. He's going to miss a couple of weeks. But Watkins is a massive threat and got a hat-trick against us in the first reverse game of this season. So yeah, they're still a massive threat. McGinn, they've got some good players, but yeah, it's going to be a tough game. But I would hope Villa would come out to try and win. I don't think they're going to just sit back. They will sit back, but not like a Brighton or a Burnley. So I'm hoping for a good game. I still think it's going to be tight, but I will go for a 1-0 win. In terms of the lineup prediction, I think there's always going to be different changes because we're playing midweek. We're playing midweek again after the game. So the back five I think is going to be the same. I expect to see Alisson, Robertson, Trent, Kabak and Phillips. There's not really a great deal we can do there. I'd be surprised if he was to drop one of those. You know, Milner or Nico Williams coming in. Tsimikas seems unlikely at this stage of the season. Midfield, Fabinho has to start in defensive midfield. I think Thiago did well when he came on against Madrid, and I was trying to rack in my brains as to why on earth he wasn't starting against Madrid. He's played against them for Barcelona. He's played against them in the Champions League for Bayern Munich. So he had his best game for us against Arsenal, and suddenly he's dropped and chucked back on after 40 minutes. So I expect to see Thiago start, and probably Milner. Bearing in mind he didn't feature in Madrid, I think he'll start against Aston Villa. I think he'll be captain. I think Wijnaldum will drop out because he didn't cover himself in glory in the week. I think probably Gini will be back in for the Madrid tie next week and hopefully not see Keita involved. Curtis Jones is a player I'd like to see feature at least off the bench. He's just been a complete ghost for the last 2 months for Liverpool. Not just after the international break, but before it. You know, obviously he had his problems in the England under-21s, so of course Klopp's got to have a word with him. But he was in great form. He was scoring in the Champions League group stages, and why he's suddenly been dropped out. You know, he had to play because of our injuries. He was in the team, but suddenly he's dropped completely, and you're putting Naby Keita in, and yeah, Curtis Jones is a miles better player than Naby Keita. Keita for me, it's been 3 years. We've not seen anything. Massive fee, a year in advance, and he's never done it, has he? It's the same as Minamino, but over a longer period. We've waited. He's never shown anything. He never stays fit. When he does get in the team, there's nothing there, is there? He just doesn't offer anything at all. So fingers crossed we will get to see a win at the weekend. Games elsewhere to keep an eye on, of course, because unlike last season, we're relying on other results. Last season was just about us, but we got Crystal Palace against Chelsea. Now, who would have said they would have lost at home to West Brom? Palace are a poor team, managed by a poor manager. I would expect Chelsea to bounce back after they got their win in midweek against Porto. So a draw would be amazing, because if Palace draw and we win, we would go level on points with Chelsea. That would be fantastic. Put Chelsea fans back in their box again. West Ham Leicester is another big one to keep an eye on. So it's an interesting one. Do we want Leicester to disappear into the distance and nail down third, and West Ham to fall away because West Ham are above us by right? Or do we want West Ham to get a result to bring Leicester back into the top 4 race? So it's a tricky one. It's whatever it happens, we can look at it with a positive spin. Probably a draw would probably suit us overall, but that's really a really big game in terms of how the season's going to finish. Spurs United again. You would think United have got enough now to finish in the top 4. So I think it's weird to say, but I think we want Man United to win against Tottenham, purely just because for the top 4 race, because Spurs are level on points with us, same games played. So again, I don't expect them to last the distance. They are very inconsistent, but you know, let's start with United getting at least a result at the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And Brighton Everton is the last one where, you know, again, Everton behind us with games in hand, can go above us, etc. So they're still a direct rival. Again, I think like Spurs, they will fall away. I don't think they're consistent enough, and Brighton is a difficult place to go, managed by Graham Potter, and they've been picking up some good results lately. So, you know, I don't think that's an easy game for Everton. So there's some good fixtures this weekend. It could go Liverpool's way. We have to get our job done first. That's it. If we don't win against home to Aston Villa, it doesn't matter what everybody does else, because we're not closing that gap. If we get a big 3 points, which is massive, and you know 2 or 3 of those games go our way, then it's going to be looking a lot more rosier. Fingers crossed we can come back in the Premier League season and find our way back into 4th. Because if we get into the top 4, we can then try and maintain it. But if you're always chasing, you can't say, will we come top 4 if we're never in it? We have to be, you know, especially if we have an early kick-off, for example, as long as we put ourselves into that 4th position, everybody else has then got to match us to go back above us. So massive 8 games remaining in the Premier League. Fixtures do favour us. Fingers crossed we can get that 4th spot, because otherwise it's all about Madrid. It's then Chelsea in the semi-final, and we saw PSG dismantle Bayern Munich as well. So there's some big teams left in that competition. I can't personally see us winning it this year. With the injuries that we've had, the form that we've had, there's no Henderson, there's no Van Dijk. Of course, I'm going to back Liverpool to the hills against the rival fans that we've got a chance of winning it, but it's going to be a massive ask. So for me, Premier League is the big moment, the big chance to get into top 4 next season, and I'm really hoping that we do turn that round. But yeah, other than that, guys, keep an eye out for the Instagram halftime, full-time report on Saturday. And yeah, other than that, I'll be jumping on here and there and everywhere. I did a tier list last night on Red Sky with Liverpool left backs, which was really fun. So check that out. That's on their Twitter and their YouTube, Red Sky Podcasts. And yeah, that's pretty much it from me, guys. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you all very soon. Take care.